The Earnestly Speaking Podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
This is your Speaking Podcast here on coming to you on a Sunday afternoon here in South Florida. It is really, really hot. And of course, it's a theme I've been using the last couple months in the show. You know, I open the show saying it's hot, but that's a fact. It's hot and humid. And I'm actually worn out too because I spent my entire Saturday helping friends out moving to a new house. Which, you know, it turned out not to be that bad anyway because, I mean, first off, I hate moving in general. Whether it's my stuff, helping people move, no matter. I don't necessarily enjoy the process of moving. It's a lot of work, a lot of hard work. I mean, look, it is what it is. Sweating, whatever. But, you know, these friends of ours have helped us move through the years. We moved to this place last year. They were the first ones to help and help with the labor. But it wasn't that bad because we had a lot of hands on deck. So again, congrats to our good friends, my wife and I's good friends, Tim and Jess. Jessica, my wife's best friend, especially the maid of honor in her wedding. They just got married last October. They just bought a new house recently, and moved in yesterday. So it was actually a good time. So yeah, thank you once again. We had a good time helping them out. But anyway, where do I start first? Well, actually, it was funny. I've been going through my files as of late, going through files of old stuff. Organizing my hard drive, things of that nature. And it really occurred to me recently that this podcast now, which is now 8 years old, this coming August, and I mean, it did start under another name, actually. If you guys are along for the ride for this entire decade, EJ Sports Rap Podcast, which is basically only sports, the entire platform of sports, that is it. And to be where we're at now, to be not just, now obviously we talk about sports as a podcast, that's never going to change, but the evolution of the show through the years. And now it's really a variety show. It's really a lot of things. It's just my worldwide, what I care about. And I'll tell you, as much as I loved coming to the game back in 2011, doing just sports, believe me, that's a lot of fun. I was passionate about that. 31 years old. Got my own show now. I'm talking about sports all the time, and I mean, I have that avenue to get that out. And that was awesome to do that in that moment back then, and even through the years. More so now, as I'm approaching 40, I love doing what I do now. I love that the show now has become more personal, become more where I can now do solo shows. Because back then, I wasn't comfortable doing solo shows at the time. I would do, once in a while, do it here or there, a little like 10, 15 minutes, segments by myself, but I never did solo shows. Now I do it on a regular basis to the point where I almost enjoy it as much as more than doing guests sometimes half the time. But to be where this show was in 2011, 2019, it's almost night and day. And to me, as I said before, this podcast is like therapy to me. Especially the solo shows, like therapy. I love that I'm able to just dive in to topics that I just want to dive into without worrying about, what about this hot take, about the sports hot take? I think what's happened to me, maturity number one, obviously. I'm turning 40. When I started the show in 2011, I just got married. My wife and I just got married. We didn't have kids yet at the time. And you fast forward 8 years later, we now have two kids. We have a 6-year-old and 2-year-old. Well, my world. Sports is important to me. It is a escape, but it's not the main thing. When Pat Riley says the main thing is always the main thing. Well, the sports to me isn't the main thing to me anymore. It's part of those things that I do value it, but the main thing to me is my family. The main thing to me is my kids. The main thing to me is my wife. The main thing to me is my mental health. The main thing to me is just being healthy. That's the main thing. The main thing is the main thing. So, obviously I've gone through, this change, and it's been subtle. One of those things, and through the years, I've always dabbled in some personal things here and there. I always dabbled in some pop culture here. I've dabbled in some music here. But the show was always about sports. It was always the foundation of sports. And now that's changed. And I couldn't be happier. You know, sports to me, why I love it, is no longer the center of my life. It's not. It can't be because I have other things I'm into. And I think I've also gotten into more things as I've gotten older. I love politics. I love pop culture. I love music, especially. That's my passion there, music. And I needed an avenue to be able to get all that out. Because as I got older, the desire to want to talk about more things on this platform has become more of a priority to me. That's why the show's changed. So I'm listening to some of these old shows, podcasts 2011, 2012. And it's just weird now how we've come to a place. I've come to a place now where, everything's changed. And again, we will talk sports. I'll talk about wrestling too. I'll talk about Democratic convention and Republican convention and all those things that I think, in my opinion, I deem important to me. But it's just, I was thinking about it earlier today as I was going through some of my hard drive and the files and whatnot. I was like, wow, this is crazy. But I'm in a good place in terms of with this show, what I want to do. I've kind of taken off in a lot of ways, taken off the hatches. I'll go where it goes. If one day I call a friend and we want to talk about, I don't know, how his trip went to Bermuda or something, I don't know, this random stuff, I'm going to do that. And I guess the thing now with this show is the freedom to talk about anything. I don't want people to expect, well, I'm sure you'll talk about this trade. And mind you, I did an Emergency podcast on Thursday on this show on Russell Westbrook, a quick little 8-minute thing, because it was something that I wanted to talk about in the moment. I did that. But it's not to be an expectation either for me to talk about sports all the time. And I think one time on this show we had spoken to Tokyo Jameson. It may have been the last time we spoke on the show. I think back in either May or April. I'm not sure exactly when. But we had discussed that. And by the way, he's gone through a lot of stuff in the last couple of years. And he completely stopped talking about sports. He's out of the loop. And this is a guy who hosted sports radio on ESPN radio back in North Carolina, years before, and played football and all this stuff. And then he decided to just let it all go. And I'm not saying I'm going that route. I would never go that route because it's not something I really want to do. But the point is, we don't want to be pigeonholed. I don't want to be pigeonholed. I like a lot of things. So that's why I'm really happy I'm in a place now where I don't feel restricted to do something. To do this only. That's where I'm at now. So it's great seeing the evolution of the Earnestly Speaking Podcast. So don't expect sports. This is what you expect. You expect me to come in once in a while, at least once, twice a week, talk about what's on my mind by myself, like right now. You'll expect good conversation with some of my friends, some media members. We'll talk football, of course, every week when football starts with Kyle Nash, as we did. We just did the Student Game Podcast, Student Game Report a couple days ago. That's going to happen. But it's not going to be just that anymore. It's going to be that and everything else. So, yeah. One issue I want to get off my chest, and I feel bad saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. So, my wife never saw Bohemian Rhapsody in theaters. I went with a good friend of mine, a fellow diehard Queen fan, in November. And again, I enjoyed the movie. I have a little review on my YouTube page of the movie. Obviously I was critical about certain things in the movie in the moment, about the timelines and all this stuff. But overall, I thought the presentation was great. And I still think the presentation is really good. But I watched the movie for the second time last week. My wife saw it for the first time because I told her it had hit HBO. She said, "Okay, we'll watch it." No problem. So I've been doing it lately. We watched a lot of movies lately. I watched Captain Marvel last week, actually. So we started watching Bohemian Rhapsody. For her first time, my second time, and she didn't really enjoy it. Like she thought she was saying there was a lot of filler in there and this and that. And not that I'm going to use her influence here, but I watched the movie with I haven't seen the movie in 6, 7, 8 months. So I watched the movie again, in my house on HBO, and I didn't really enjoy it as much. Like, I was even more critical of the movie now than at first glance. At second glance, I'm even more critical of it. And again, presentation's still great. The way they depicted Live Aid, great. The characters and how they portrayed Freddie Mercury and Brian May and to some degree Rhoda Taylor. John Deacon definitely was dead on, for the record. But to watch the movie and watching how it, I was bothered, and I think even more so the second time around, the timeout issues bothered me again. I know what they to me because I know so much about Queen, and again, I'll say it again, I'm not the demographic they're looking for, because I believe this movie was targeted towards the mainstream fan who's not necessarily a Queen diehard. They appreciate the music, they may have a greatest hits album, maybe a couple albums here and there, but they're not invested in the way myself is, or even say other Queen fans that are diehards like me, or even more so than me. That the movie was targeted towards the mainstream, and he loved it, and that's a good thing. If you're a Queen, if you're somebody that wants Queen's legacy to continue to build as the years go on, this is a good thing. But it comes with a price, and the band was heavily involved in the movie, obviously, how it was put together. And certain things, to me, because I know too much about the band, and especially about Freddie Mercury's life, based on what's documented, and documented over and over again for the years, that didn't make any sense. It didn't tie up well. And I don't want to go into too much on this show today, because I actually did that once before. You can find that podcast on YouTube. I actually sequestered that whole section of the movie, of the review, on my YouTube page, on the clip section on my YouTube page. But the point is, I was more annoyed again, more so now, and even the movie felt cornier. Like the way they were writing songs and how they came up with this riff. I mean, I don't know how it's gonna get better, but I was a little more bothered. But again, I was more bothered because I'm not the demographic. I'm not who you're trying to reach. You already got me. Queen already has me ready. They could not release a movie last year. It wouldn't have mattered. I'm not going to buy your soundtrack because I already own your records. You know what I'm saying? So I don't need to buy the soundtrack. I own your records ready. So I'm not a demographic. I'm not who you're trying to get. But I was a little more annoyed this time around. I don't know why. And again, do I like the movie as a movie as it is? Yes. But I don't think it's the kind of movie I'm going to watch too often moving forward. I might watch it maybe once every couple of years, but I'm good. I watched it once in theaters in November. I waited 8 months. I watched it this week with my wife because she didn't see it. And I was a little more annoyed. It's weird. I was a little more annoyed with the movie. And I feel bad saying that. I really do. But, this is how I feel, And, but it doesn't mean it's not a great movie. It's still a great movie. In terms of what it is. If you are the mainstream Queen fan, of course, it's good for you. But yeah, I was a little more bothered this time around. So, but here's something that's not bothersome to me and my family, and I think it's working this time around with my youngest kid, Logan, who's 2 years old, and something I think I've now even more. I've always appreciated Sesame Street, but more so even this week because of what's happened with my son and his growth and all that. And I've said before, and I'll say it again even now. Sesame Street is a savior to my family. Not like Jesus Christ savior, but it's a blessing to my family. My oldest son Eli was pretty much raised on Sesame Street, and he took to it very easily in comparison to my youngest son. My oldest son Eli loves Sesame Street. He still watches it to some degree today, not as much as he used to, but he still watches it to some degree. And a lot of his early learning, he caught a lot of things out easier and early. He learned how to read numbers very early, the alphabet very early. And yeah, credit goes to my wife and I, of course, because of being involved. But even more so, I think Sesame Street and because of what they do, everything's about learning there. And he was able to, figure things out relatively early. At 2 years old. At 2 years old, even before that, to some degree. My youngest one, Logan, didn't say Sesame Street at all. We tried it early on. He hated it. We tried it a year old. He hated it. So much that when I put it on, he would start crying, and I never understood that. It's puppets. What we do? No, he didn't like it. So we would always put on cartoons that weren't necessarily educational to some degree, and to me, I felt that at some point we needed to change course. We it's okay to watch Wreck-It Ralph. It's okay to watch, Trolls and Sing and all these other shows, but at some point we needed to change course and get Logan back into where it's educational too. So I've been trying to. My wife and I have started to sort of force feed Sesame Street on. So what happens? My son Eli, who's 6, of course, he still watches Sesame Street now, to some degree. So whenever he's watching it in his room, whatever, or even in the living room, we'll make sure Logan's aware of what's going on and make him watch it. And slowly Logan started to get into it a little bit here and there. What's helped really more than anything else, I think, is there's an app on our iPhones. We downloaded it. It's a Elmo app, 123 app, ABC app, whatever. That my son, oldest son, would play once in a while. Logan loves watching him play, so Logan started watching him play the app so much now that he started playing it on the phone. So we have a couple, beat up iPhones, like extra iPhones in the house, older phones that we still kept. An iPad we still kept that's older, and he started catching onto it and learning how to play this game, the Sesame Street games on the apps, which has been great. And he's caught onto it, and now he's getting to the point now where he's starting to really enjoy Sesame Street's product on television now. So it's really been, he's starting to talk more. I've noticed his behavior in terms of wanting to talk back and forth. He's not there yet in terms of the words, but he's starting to communicate even better. And I believe Sesame Street has helped with that. I think being able to do the ABCs 1, 2, 3 on the phone and on television and seeing what's going on there. And I've been playing it more often as a priority in the mornings with him. It's helped. And to me, Sesame Street has always been a blessing for our family. I grew up with it, of course. My wife did as well. My oldest son Eli, of course, caught up to it pretty early, and it's been nothing but great for him. And then now Logan a little later than we thought, but he's starting to catch on to it, and it's been just great. It's been great. So it took a little bit to because I wanted to direct him back into some more educational stuff because he loves the action movies and loves the like I said, loves Trolls and Sing and that's cool. And there's nothing wrong with those shows, but in those movies, but I wanted him to learn, and we wanted him to learn, and we're finally. Sesame Street is the one thing I always go to, and it took a while, but I think he's finally there. So thank you for Sesame Street for existing for all these years. I mean, I can't believe this. They're now, I mean, they gotta be at least 50 now, close to 50 years old. I mean, I saw on Hulu, they had like 40 something seasons, and it goes back to the 70s and the late 60s. So they're getting up there in age, man. But they've been great for my family. So, and it's finally working on my youngest one too. So anyway. Speaking of TV, lots of changes coming to TV streaming. A couple weeks ago, we found out that The Office, which I've never watched, but I plan on watching this summer, which is I better start soon, is going to be off of Netflix in 2021. Then we found out Friends this week. Friends will be off of Netflix in 2020. Now people say, "Well, that's not a big deal. Well, not a big deal. Whatever." Some people are pissed about it because obviously Netflix is pretty much everybody has. I mean, I don't think any. I doubt that there's nobody in your life that does not have Netflix. Netflix is pretty much, appointment streaming, if you call it. But these shows are coming off their platforms in the next 2 years, and part of the reason, and the main reason why, is because NBC, Universal, whatever it is, I believe, or Warner Brothers. I can't remember the companies that actually own these. I know NBC is one of them, but I think Warner Brothers also is another one. Are finally getting to the game. They finally are starting to, launch their own personal streaming accounts. Now, this has always been my assessment for years, is that the value of these shows and these platforms are to watch these shows, unless they were made by these actual companies, unless they were actually Netflix originals or Hulu originals or Amazon originals. The value of these shows really, like it was always assumed that at some point, some of these shows that were, let's say ABC show comes to Netflix. You knew it wouldn't be forever. But if you like the show that much, you still buy the DVD. You still buy the physical DVDs, or you buy it digitally, however you prefer to own the product. But we knew as time went on that some of these companies will eventually get into the game. CBS All Access has their own. CBS has had their own platform for quite a while. People say, well, why can't you find Big Bang Theory and all these other shows on Netflix? Because why would CBS want to, why would they want to outsource their own material to other companies when they own it themselves and have their own platform? Like, if you really value the Big Bang Theory or other CBS type shows, you will order the CBS All Access app, which is only $6, I think. I actually unsubscribed recently because I don't really need it right now in the moment. I might get it back in the fall when football starts for the CBS games. But people, streaming services now it's starting to become an issue now for a lot of people, where streaming shows it's starting to become very pricey, to where you're pretty much paying the same amount of money. When you include the internet, you're paying the same amount of money for cable that you would for all these streaming services like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon and whoever may be. Like, for me, I pay for Netflix, Hulu, Amazon. I pay for Stars currently because my wife and I are watching a couple of shows on there right now, so we need it. And we don't pay for Showtime right now, although I will probably reorder Showtime at some point in the next couple months when I start watching some of those shows there. So people are, again, pissed off now that, might as well order cable. And this is why I go back to, I've spoken about this before, in, not so much in detail here, but I may have mentioned it a couple times here in other places, but the true value of streaming services is not nothing to do with money. Like, you knew at some point these companies would catch up and figure out a way to, if they're losing subscribers, how will they make up the cost? Well, one way to make up the cost is to jack up your internet prices. So the internet now is an average of $70 a month, $78 a month. I pay for my internet plus an alarm because I have Comcast, which I really can't stand Comcast as a company, but their actual service is actually pretty decent. Like, it's really good. Like, the actual service, their customer service sucks, but their actual service is really, really good. So you take the good and the bad. Plus, where we live at, there's no other options. You have to get Comcast. So we pay for an alarm and we pay for internet. So initially the first year we moved in this new place, we paid $90 and change a month for it. Now the year's gone by, obviously the deal's up. So now we're paying about $125 a month. Still not terrible, but again, you're paying for a service or two things. But to me, the real value in streaming has nothing to do with the cost, cutting costs. The real value in streaming is this, and people forget this all the time, is being in control of what you want to watch. When you order cable, you don't realize you're paying for channels that you may not watch. Like, let's say I had cable right now. I'm paying $120 a month for cable TV, okay? But I'm not paying $120 of actual value that I actually prefer. I'll get cable for $120, but if I want HBO on top of that, I gotta pay extra $50 on top of the $120. If I want a Showtime, I gotta pay an additional $8 on top of the $120. When Netflix, whatever. That's why I always tell folks that, the value isn't necessarily in the money you're saving, it's more so in the control of what you want. Okay? So while you're paying as much, at least with HBO, if you decide, you know what, I don't want it right now, I'll cut off a couple months, you can do that. Whereas cable companies now allow force you to contracts now. So the real value is being in control of what you want. You're paying for cable, and I would dare say most folks, let's say I wasn't a sports fan, but I still get ESPN with my basic cable. You're still paying for ESPN, and you have no choice in the matter. At least with streaming, if you didn't want ESPN or didn't want HBO or the other streaming services, you don't have to have it. You have to pay for it. With cable, you're forced to add on bundles and add on this, and a lot of those bundles, a lot of the material in those bundles, you don't really care to have anyway. So I order cable TV, and I have the NASCAR channel, the race travel travel channel, which I don't really watch that much. Lifetime, whatever it may be. I am paying for channels that I don't care to watch. And yeah, by the way, it's all embedded into the bill. You can't get out of it. It's all bundled up into the bill. And we didn't learn about that until years later. ESPN costs, I believe, $7 to $8 a month within the cable bundle. But you didn't know that. You just got the cable bundle, and whatever came with it, came with it. So the real value isn't really about save money off cable. It's about being in control of what you actually want to pay for. So, at least I know, like, if I'm paying for Showtime, Stars, Netflix, Hulu, whatever, yeah, it's a lot of money. Yeah, something for, yeah. But you know what? I am paying for things that I actually want. And I can always reverse that if I want to. If I decide, you know what? HBO sucks these days. I think I'll take a couple months off from HBO. So I'll save $15 a month next couple months and pick up something else. It gives me the option to do that. So, that's why I think people misrepresent the idea of where you're saving really when it comes to cable versus streaming. To me, it's more in the value of the control of what you want to watch, opposed to what you're forced to watch or what you're forced to pay for. And that's why, look, I've been a cord cutter since 2012 because I didn't need it. There was no value in watch. I didn't watch a lot outside of sports. I didn't watch a lot of live TV anyway. And when I found a workaround to watching sports, and I watched League Pass, and obviously Red Zone when NFL comes back, you can pay for that separately as well too. You can pay for MLB at Bat. But I'm paying for those channels. At least I know if I want to stop watching those channels, I can stop it when I want. Whereas with cable TV, you're paying for a bundle, and that's what you're paying for. And if you want more of certain channels and another tier, you have to pay extra money for that. So, again, I think people misrepresent the true value of cable, not having cable versus the other way around. So, but again, Friends, people pissed about Friends and The Office not being on on Netflix a couple years. But again, NBC is now in the game of doing their own thing. The NBC is going to force you to, okay, if you really value Friends and The Office, you need to order the NBC app, and that'll cost probably $6 a month. I don't know, but again, if you want these shows that bad, all you gotta do is buy the DVDs, buy the seasons, and that's it. I mean, you'd be paying for the same amount of money, if not more, over the lifespan of the deal. So chalk up the $80 for the Office box set or the Friends box set. How much may it cost today? Or buy it digitally. That way you can watch on TV digitally. You don't have to worry about taking out the DVD. One of the things my wife and I have an issue with was like our favorite show is Scrubs. And we prefer to see the DVD versions because we have the early DVD releases before, they stop paying for some of these music rights. Whereas the version on Hulu has the edited stuff and all that. Why would I keep paying, $11 a month for Hulu? Granted, we keep Hulu because there's other things we're watching there normally, but we have the Scrubs DVD. And again, just pay, like, if all you have Netflix for is for Friends or in The Office, you better just buying the box sets and be out of the way, and that's it. Rather than coughing up to $12 a month or $30 a month. How much you pay for Netflix or Hulu? Makes no sense at all. So my advice to everybody is just pay for it yourself. Just pay for the box sets and call it a day. So, all right. What else have I heard before I go? Oh, so the NBA offseason is now settled in. Now I did an emergency podcast Thursday on the Russell Westbrook trade. Him and Chris Paul swap teams, Thunder, Rockets. And I imagine this will be the last NBA-related topic I'll talk about on the show, unless a big thing happens between now and the camp and whatnot. But I'll reiterate one more time before I go. That I'm looking forward to next year. Next year is going to be a phenomenal season. I cannot wait. This is the first, I'll say it again, this is the first time since 1994 that we really have a wide open playoff possibilities here. There's obviously a tier of favorites, but the tier now has grown. There's no more of it's Golden State, it's Miami, it's San Antonio, it's Lakers. No, you can legitimately make a case for 10 teams to play in the finals based on the circumstance. And this year, on paper, is going to be phenomenal. I cannot wait. Like, are the Clippers the favorite? Maybe, but then they're not the odds on. They're not the overwhelming favorite. I mean, I can make a case for the Lakers to beat them still, even if LeBron and Anthony Davis is healthy. I can make a case for the Portland Trail Blazers to be in the mix. I can make a case for Denver with their team, the Rockets with Russell Westbrook and James Harden. Make a case for that as well too. Make a case for the Bucks, the Sixers with their strong lineup. You know, it's going to be a fascinating season this year. I can't wait. I mean, this offseason has been nuts. And then it capped off with the Westbrook stuff. You know? So, and again, I said it on the Earnestly Podcast, and I'll say it here too. The Westbrook thing was a wash. It was a wash with Chris Paul because, you know, there are things that Chris Paul does that Westbrook won't be able to provide. But there are things that Westbrook does do that Chris Paul wasn't able to provide. Chris Paul was better off the ball player, better shooter, obviously, but he can't stay healthy. Westbrook, as long as he's healthy, and I mean, you want to think that he can change his game a little bit to some degree, play off the ball a little better. He's not really that good off the ball. So there's concerns there, but it's still a wash to me because everything's wide open. Everything's wide open. It's going to be I can't wait. It's going to be a fun season. I think tonight also is Extreme Rules WWE. I missed the AEW pay-per-view last night, actually. To be honest with you, I haven't really been watching, I've watched bits and pieces of all 3 pay-per-views they've done so far. AEW's pay-per-views, rather. But it's been a slow build. And I think a lot of it because of the fact that they're not on TV yet. And I think TV helps. And the fact that I have to go on my phone and watch, like, when they play the pay-per-views at nighttime, 8 o'clock, it's kind of hard for me to focus on the pay-per-views because, 8 o'clock at night on a Saturday when I'm doing pay-per-views, I'm putting my kids to sleep. And I'm not able to lock in and watch the products. There's no way to watch it on television, at least I don't know of. It means on Beach Report Live, but I don't see a BR Live, app on my Roku, so I can't watch it live on there. So I know what's going on. I know, you know, Jericho last night, you know, won a title, I believe, and a couple of things here and there, but I haven't been able to really watch AEW. But I think the main thing here for me is that the reason why I haven't watched AEW really, so far is the fact that, there's no TV. TV helps. WWE for me, I'm now over a month into watching it for the first time, like I said, in 17 years, and the reason it's been easy to follow is because you have the pay-per-views every month, plus you have Raw, plus you have SmackDown, and everything else in between. So, and some of the characters I've been familiar with to some degree. Again, tonight is the pay-per-view, Extreme Rules. I'm not going to go through the entire card. I'll only mention the things that I'm really interested in this tonight for the show. Obviously the Seth Rollins Becky Lynch match against Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans. The winners, obviously if Baron Corbin pins Seth Rollins or if Lacey Evans pins Becky Lynch, then both the Universal title and the Women's title for Raw title rather goes to Lacey Evans and Baron Corbin. I am not really that invested in this rivalry, in this storyline. Honestly, I'm hoping that tonight is the end of that thing, the entire storyline. Since I'm not really invested in it, I think, to be honest with you, I love Becky Lynch. I think she's doing great things. She was at the ESPYs on Wednesday. I think her being involved in this storyline honestly takes away from her. And I think she's better off. She stands out, yes, but look, I like Seth Rollins and I like Becky Lynch, but I don't like them together. On screen. Off screen, whatever. I don't give a crap leave off screen. I'm saying on screen, I don't like them together. I'm hoping that tonight is the end of that storyline. I'm picking Lynch and Rollins to win because I figure this will be a bridge to another storyline. Maybe Brock Lesnar comes in, cashes in the Money in the Bank, and challenges Seth Rollins. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. You got the Kofi Kingston, Samoa Joe, WWE title match tonight. I love Kofi Kingston. I think he's great. But I'm kind of rooting for Samoa Joe, man. Samoa Joe is my guy. He's my favorite guy in the whole company. Him and Kevin Owens, actually. Samoa Joe is a good dude, man. I love what he does, how he presents himself and all that. So I'm kind of rooting for Samoa Joe. I don't think he'll win, though. I think Kofi Kingston will be the champion going into SummerSlam next month, and that's just that. But we'll see what happens. I wasn't been surprised. Who else? Another match I'm invested into. You got the AJ Styles, Ricochet match for the U.S. title. I love how they made AJ Styles a heel with Gallows and Anderson. Phenomenal turn. That means you have, because, before that whole thing happened 2 weeks ago on Raw, AJ Styles was kind of a sort of face. Ricochet was obviously the big baby face, should I say. And by separating AJ Styles now, he's a bona fide heel and a great heel of that with the club. You have Ricochet, who's now right now one of the biggest baby faces in the company, one of the most talented guys on the roster, in fact, and getting a major push. And they already fought twice last month, and even though I've seen him fight twice in the last month, they have great matches. So I'm looking forward to the match tonight. I mean, they have great matches. I can see this going in SummerSlam also, to be honest with you. I'm going to pick Ricochet because he just got the belt last month, but it wouldn't shock me if AJ Styles wins the title tonight, and they, have Ricochet chase him to SummerSlam next month and get the title back. Who knows? So I'll pick Ricochet though because he's got the title recently. I'm also invested. Look, I'm not a fan of three-way tag matches or three-way matches in general, but I will say I'm kind of looking forward to this one with Heavy Machinery, the New Day, and Daniel Bryan and Rowan. I think Daniel Bryan and Rowan will retain the titles. It would be funny though to see Heavy Machinery actually, with Otis especially. Otis is my guy. Win the titles, but I don't see it happening. I think Rowan and Daniel Bryan will also be the tag titles SmackDown champions at least till SummerSlam next month. What other matches I'm looking forward to here? Oh yeah, you have the Bayley match handicap match. Bayley against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. I already said on Twitter, I think Nikki Cross is adorable as hell. Alexa Bliss, she hasn't been on TV much. She's been sick a lot. I don't know what's going on with her. But I think Nikki Cross is great. Nikki Cross is actually great in the ring too. I was really impressed. I've been watching her on screen. Bayley is cool. And I like Bayley also as well. But I'll be honest with you, I would like to see Nikki Cross blaze her own trail on her own. She's great. I love her. She's adorable. So she wins the title tonight and becomes co-champions, as I said, if they win. I wouldn't be that mad about that, honestly. What else am I missing here? I'm trying to look up all the matches that I really care about. There's a couple matches there I really don't really care for. I'm not really, should I say, I'm not really invested in, should I say. Let me see here. I'm looking real quick. So we got Seth Rollins, we got Kofi. Let's see. Oh yeah, of course, the big one, the Roman Reigns Taker match against the Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre. Look, Roman Reigns is going to win this match, no matter what. I'm hoping that this is the end of Shane McMahon being on TV all the time. Shane is a great heel. I am not knocking Shane, but Shane is so great, he takes away from people. He's taking away from Drew McIntyre and other people. So I'm hoping that this will be the end of the road for that, for Shane on TV as much as he is. We'll see what happens. But I think Reigns, the big dog, Roman Reigns, who, by the way, I'm sick of hearing by Roman Reigns. The guy's great. But I don't know. I've been saying on Twitter already, they need to turn Roman Reigns heel. Period. In discussion. So, I'm going to take Reigns, Undertaker, of course. Undertaker, by the way, the only reason I believe Undertaker's in this match right now is he's trying to make up for the forgetful last month, Saudi Arabia match. Was it, Super Showdown? Yeah. Because it was dreadful against Goldberg. Oh yeah. Braun Strowman against, Bobby Lashley. This rivalry, which I didn't find interesting originally, with the big LED crash 2 weeks ago on Raw. Now it's a last man standing match. I'm actually a little more invested now with that, and I'll pick Braun Strowman to win this one. He's been on TV since that incident. You got Revival against the Usos. I'll take the Revival for this match, at least for this show. But I think the Usos will be chasing that Raw Tag Team title. And Aleister Black is Cesaro. I'll take Aleister Black on that one. He's been on TV. I see some of his promos. I haven't seen him in the ring much. But I think I saw him in the ring last week. I'm not sure if he fought last week. And then the Cruiserweight Championship match between Drew Gulak and Tony Nese. I don't know who to root for. I don't know who's. I guess Gulak, right? I guess. I don't know. Remember, I'm still new to the game. So there's your quick Extreme Rules preview on the Earnestly Speaking Podcast, which is only going to matter for another 4 hours because the show starts at 7 o'clock today. So, that's that. So I guess that's it for now. More pods coming this week. By the way, I guys saw this a couple days. Things happen for a reason sometimes. So last week I did the solo pod. I think it was Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember exactly when I did it. Maybe it was Sunday. I don't know what day I did that. But then I said, I guess no more guests for a while because it's hard to, I don't want to book guests, and then things happen because of the kids and all that. All of a sudden I get a window and I have 2 guests on the show this week. I get, Kyle Nass doing the game report. I was able to get that in. And then I was able to get in also David Mill. I was able to schedule the show. I had to postpone on Sunday. Get it on Thursday also with David Mill. Talk some basketball, free agency, all that. And I almost got lucky with a 3rd show. But again, kids, all that. So I'm not planning shit anymore. If a show comes on your feed, it comes on your feed. There's no schedule of this show. If you happen to see 4 podcasts drop out of nowhere between Thursday and Friday, it happened because I got a window. That's all I'm going to tell you. I mean, one thing I'll tell you for sure, you're guaranteed to get at least 1 or 2 solo shows like this a week. Definitely. So, I'm on Twitter at EJChristian7, Earnestly Media at earnestspeaking.net. Haven't written anything in a while. I'll probably do something maybe later in the week. We'll see. Other than that, till then, God bless. Love you guys, and take care. And again, find this podcast on Stitcher, on Google Play, on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and of course, Apple Podcasts. Love you guys. Take care. See ya.